Hey everybody, welcome back to another Flea Market Finds episode, and this is a long overdue odds and sods episode. So this will be stuff that I picked at the August 17th outdoor flea market, which wasn't much, and then to that I'm going to add all of the stuff that kind of falls between the cracks. Stuff that I picked at flea market and there just wasn't enough to put together an entire video, but then when I put all those things together we got enough stuff. So this ought to be a pretty decent one. There'll be some interesting items here. One of which is this right here, this banner. So this is a Pioneer banner. Now I'm not positive, but I think this would have been for a Pioneer stereo dealer to hang in their store. It's a little dirty, not mint. Vintage stereo equipment's always been popular, and now a lot of the Pioneer receivers from the 1970s are really becoming collectible. So somebody might actually want this thing, and so that's why I grabbed it. I only paid $5 for this because the condition, like I said, it's got a little bit of staining and, like, I don't know, discoloration on it, but still kind of a neat thing. And I'll be honest, I'm not even positive this is for stereo equipment. I know Pioneer is a name that was used by some other companies, so it could be Pioneer sod busting equipment for all I know. Let me move that camera, get us in position. Some of the stuff I remember what I paid for it, some of it I honestly don't, so I'll either take a guess or just say I don't know. This is a old Starrett depth micrometer. Case was in kind of rough shape. This metal piece was pulled off of here. I actually got it reseated. It's got a cut in the top, but it is a 0 to 6 inch depth mic. All the rods are there. It's not frozen. Spins freely. Ratchet works. So actually, it's not in that bad a shape. And I got this for like $15. So can't beat that. There's a guy there who had a lot of household junk, and he had a box full of camera stuff. He actually had a couple of boxes with camera stuff in it. I took a quick look through. So I went through the box of camera stuff, and a lot of the old cameras, they're just not worth that much. And quite frankly, the stuff I did pick out of there might not even be worth that much, but I figured I'd take a chance on a couple of items. This is the only camera that caught my eye as being interesting to me because it's an early Olympus automatic. So I have no idea on the value of this camera when I was looking at it. It's oftentimes the case. Got to take a chance. And if you're wondering why I don't look things up right there when I'm on the spot, it's because that particular flea market has horrible cell phone reception, so you can't get internet. So it's like you go down the road and you can figure out what something's worth. But this has got some, I don't know if that's glue or what that is on there, but it's an Olympus automatic. This is the type that would have used the flash cubes that click in the top here. So kind of early. It's a made in Japan model, which I know is a good thing. So this might be of value to a collector. And as far as if it's any good, I have no idea. So, matter of fact, I don't even know how to wind it. You should be able to, let's see. I wonder if this camera's supposed to use a battery or something. Oh, I see corrosion here. Oh, I got a bad feeling about this. I got a feeling this is a very highly corrosive. Oh! Well, the good news is the batteries aren't in there, so it's not a situation where the batteries were left in there, but there is some corrosion there, but it's actually not as bad as I thought. So this is actually an interesting camera, huh? Most likely going to have to sell it for parts or repair. Well, that's why I don't deal with cameras, because you just never know. This camera is only worth about $15 in the condition it's in. And I'm assuming that because one sold for $10 but didn't have the case. So this one with the case I think is worth a little bit more maybe. But again, because of the non-working condition of the camera, I'm going to assume non-working. Luckily I think I only paid $20 for this lot. There was a whole bunch of lenses there, and I know a lot of these lenses aren't worth anything, but I grabbed these three because these three to me look like wide-angle lenses, and I have heard that sometimes you can adapt these wide-angle lenses to digital cameras. Like this one, it says it's a titanium super wide macro lens. This is an Ultimax telephoto lens, 35mm. These are all in excellent shape. They don't look like they've got fogging or scratched up or whatever. And the last lens is this one here, again in a nice little case. And this is a laser super wide 0.42x. I noticed that other one was a 0.42x too, also made in Japan. And these all have threaded bases for whatever kind of camera they went on. And then also the guy had these things were in there, so I grabbed these two things. This is called a star scope. So it's a monocular telescope with a lens cap and carry strap. So it's basically, it's a little field like spotting scope. It's like an oversized version of what Jason Bourne used in those movies. Yeah, pretty cool. But I mean, it's made in China. It's just a cheap little thing, but I just thought it'd be handy to have. And then why not buy two? This one's a little bit different. This is the high quality telescope. This is the high quality telescope. Oh wait, but it's not. It's the high quality. What's the spelling of that? It's missing the L. They stuck high quality into one word, but then they dropped the L. High quality. Perfect for boating and yachting, sports, bird watching, auto racing, horse racing, hunting, beach, and travel. Bad grammar continues. View more thing. Not things. View more thing. This one looks like it's, oh, this one's got all the bells and whistles still in the plastic and everything. And this one looks like it's never been even used at all. Boy, you think it's made by the same company or what? Same style one-handed focus up on the top here. Hey, you know, it's actually not a bad little scope. This one's even got a mount. If you want to tripod mount it, or looks like it's got a handle. I got this thing right here in this case for 20 bucks. This guy had put out his stuff and he had quite a crowd around his table, and there was a feeding frenzy, and I had opened this case up and saw what was in it. And I could tell out of the corner of my eye there were a couple of guys just standing there waiting for me to either ask how much this was and pass on it so they could maybe buy it, or waiting for me to hopefully put it back down. So I don't know what the excitement was about. I've never heard of this brand. ICOV, yeah, I don't know. And what's in here is a laser level. So this would be handy for builders doing projects like hanging cabinets, all different types of applications, probably floor tile. So what you got is you got this unit, which actually feels pretty decent quality. It's got rotating lasers. So there's probably one laser that hits a prism that is rotating. And what that does is that creates a level line. So if you mount this on a tripod and you level this, then it'll cast a line on the wall that'll be perfectly level. But then there's one on the side here and one on the side here. So that's how you can use it for things like doing floor tile alignment and stuff like that. Oh, Jesus, I just blinded myself. So it actually has batteries in it and still works. So I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's see if I can get this. Shut up. So you see on my hands right there is the bright green line. So a lot of these use red lasers. This is green. And then it's beeping because basically it auto levels, I think. So if I turn it like this, it's telling me it can't level. If I do it like this, it levels. And then it's on horizontal right now. I hit this and it'll turn on the vertical, turn on the other vertical, turn on both, or just horizontal like where I started. Kind of cool. It uses a rechargeable battery pack. So I would think if it's going to go dead while you're working, there would be a second battery pack. Yep, I don't know. That's the all right. So this is the charger. That's the charger. Or maybe you can run it off of AC also. I don't know. Oh, here we go. So here's a second battery pack. That's good. This is a remote control. So if you've got it set up on a tripod, you know, in the room, and you're working, you can just activate it from horizontal, vertical from this. I can read this a little bit better now. It's IKO, looks like VWUK. This is a magnetic mount. Not going to work because this table's aluminum, but that's a magnetic mount. And then this looks like probably an adapter for a regular tripod mounting. Oh, actually, yeah, there you go. So that actually is a little miniature tripod. This is a target. So if you use this over a longer distance and it's hard to see the lines, the lines will fluoresce on this this green material here. So I found one just like this on eBay right now. Not eBay, on Amazon right now. It's on sale actually for $69.95 with free Prime shipping. But that one, the case looks different, and it apparently only comes with one battery, whereas this one has an extra battery. Otherwise it seems to be almost identical to this one. Alright, here's some machinist stuff. This is a milling cutter, brand new old stock. It doesn't have any chips in it, it's high-speed steel. 2.5 inch by 2 inch by 1 inch. So that means it's a 2.5 inch diameter, 2 inches in height, and it's got a 1 inch arbor. I think I got that for like $5. One of the other guys I buy from, he had just these random V-block clamps. So I think I got all of these for like 10 or 15 bucks. These two are a nice matched pair for something, I don't know what. Look like they might be Starrett or Brown and Sharp. This is a nice little pick for getting to O-rings and stuff like that. Actually seems pretty decent quality. It's got some rust on it, but that's okay. This is just something I bought for myself. I don't want to resell this. It was this and this hand tool here were the only two that I picked from that guy's junk pile. I think he just had one of those tables with a whole bunch of stuff all over it. Everything was like $1 a piece. And this is just a little gasket scraper. I think I paid like $3 for this pair of Wiss scissors. Nice large pair. They say Crescent Wiss W20 inlaid. They just have a really nice edge on them. They just seem really well made. This is a dead center that somebody took the time to actually dip in this protectant material. It's almost like cosmoline type of stuff. This is a little boring head I got from a guy for like 20 bucks, and it's actually it's got a straight shank. This to me looks like this was turned down by somebody so that they could fit it into this collet. I think originally this shank was this diameter the whole way with this flat spot on the side, which is called a Weldon type mount, because I think the company Weldon must have patented it, the idea of having that flat on the side so that if you put it into a holder that has a grub screw that can engage that, it'll lock it so it can't spin in the holder. So it's been modified in that way, but other than that it's just a nice little boring head. And it says Costa Mesa, California on it right here, so that tells me that this is a Criterion boring head, even though I don't see Criterion on it anywhere. Oh, I bet you see, this has been ground right on the side here, and then somebody engraved their initials or name in the side of it here. So I bet you right there is where it said Criterion. Normally I don't bother with these old dividers like this, but these, I probably grabbed these because they were either given to me for free or they're Pexto maybe, I don't know. I could just make out cast steel, but they're missing the little thumb screw. But these were probably given to me. Here's a nice little tool maker's clamp. It's a Starrett. So a lot of people mistakenly call these a small vise, but its correct name is tool maker's clamp. And when these are new, they typically will be in a box with this jaw and also a little flat square jaw. And the idea is you can pop this off like so, okay, and it just clicks on there and you can switch the jaws. Now that is also the reason why oftentimes there are parts missing to these when you find them. So if the jaw pops off and it's in the drawer of a tool box and somebody comes along, buys the box and doesn't know, they might just find that little square piece and not know what the heck it is and toss it out. But these are nice little handy clamps. The guy had a box of all types of high-speed steel stuff, and I picked out this group right here of what appear to be new old stock spiral flute counter bores with these long shanks on them that might be handy. So you can see it's got a little smaller diameter there that acts as the pilot. A little clamp, parallel clamp. These are all new old stock, really small twist drills, number size twist drills. Oh, actually not number size, this is 1/64. Yeah, these are number 56, number 79, number 52, and then these here also more the same. And then this is a Starrett, I forget the number, it's actually on here but I'm not wearing my glasses, but I've had these before. This is the Starrett. This is for putting two combination square blades together to make one really long blade. I've had larger versions of these. This is a nice little small one. These quick clamps right here, this style. I think they're welding clamps, but I've got a few of these and they work pretty good. They snap shut like quick release clamps. This is just a random little small hole gauge. It's not a Starrett, it's probably Chinese or Japanese. This is a little Starrett scale, a little 6-inch narrow one, satin chrome finish. This is what do we got here? That's a 4 flute high-speed steel end mill, looks pretty good. This little thing right here, this is a Jacobs chuck repair parts kit. So this has jaws and a threaded nut to rebuild or repair a Jacobs chuck. I don't know what size it's for. It says part number 00, so I can look it up. But it's for a really small one, obviously. Normally I don't deal in cast iron. This is made by a company called Lodge, L-O-D-G-E. It's the USA. I have heard of like Griswold and that, but I haven't really heard of Lodge, but that's because I'm not a pan guy, right? So I was able to get this for $5. If somebody wanted to take the time and sandblast this and season it, they'd have themselves a nice little cast iron cooking pan. One of my sons was asking me if I see cast iron pans, so I'll have to see if he's still looking for one, if he wants to do a little elbow grease and clean this up. Another guy had a bunch of paperweights on his table, and I looked through, and some of them were just the regular glass paperweights that just have like designs in them. But this one caught my eye because it had this this Masonic medallion in it. So what it is it appears to be a medallion or a coin commemorating a Masonic lodge, the Elgin and Bruce Lodge. So I took a chance on this for $5. This might be something that somebody who collects Masonic lodge type stuff might be interested in. Oh, I forgot, I did also get this one other item with those the camera lenses and stuff. This guy had this Samsung fast charging wireless charging station, and I've got a cheap Chinese one. Not that this isn't a cheap Chinese one, but it's like a puck style one, and it's very unreliable. You have to put the phone down. First you have to take the phone out of the case, which is a pain in itself. So every night I take the phone out of its case and put it on the charger. And then if you don't set it down on the charger exactly right, it doesn't work. This one is brand new. It's never been used. Just look at the protective film on it. But this style here, you kind of just put the phone on it like that, okay? Now this is an LG phone, so I don't even know if it's going to work, but I figured I'd give it a shot and see if it works better than the one I have. Why I use the wireless charger is because my port on my phone has a problem. If you plug into it and you hit the wire like the slightest bit, it will stop charging or disconnect. And no, it's not lint in there, because I know that trick. Over the years I've done that before, where you take the little tiny like pin or whatever and clean out the fibers that get in there and cause that problem. That's not the case here. The connector actually seats well, but it's something else going on. It's probably the connector's worn, or there's a break maybe. So the only way to fix that is to replace the connector, which involves taking the whole phone apart and doing surface mount desoldering and soldering, which I'm not going to bother doing for this whole phone. Or I should say paying to have done, because if I could do it myself, it might be worth it for me to do it. But I don't have the equipment and the skill required to do that level of, and eyesight, quite frankly, to do that level of soldering and desoldering. I won't do it. Picked up another horn. A few weeks ago I picked up a funky old horn and brought it home, found out it didn't work at all. This one looks a little bit more hopeful. It doesn't look like it's as rusted or decrepit as the other one, but this one's just a single blast horn. And I spotted this flat of stuff at a guy's booth, and I saw this thing and was wondering what it was, and then I saw the booklet right next to it and realized that this is something to do with ham radio. It is a digital voice announcement system. So I've probably mentioned in the past that I'm an amateur radio enthusiast. So a matter of fact, I just got my extra class license about a month and a half ago. In the old days, you had more classifications of licenses. You know, you started out as novice and you worked your way up through several classes. Now they've simplified it and made only 3 classes. So the basic radio, amateur radio license that you start out with now is called technician, and then you can advance to a general, and then once you've gotten your general license, you can go for the amateur extra. The amateur extra gives you access to all of the ham radio bands that are in use in the US for ham radio operation. So there are some places that you can go with the amateur extra license that other licensees can't go to. That's the main benefit. Anywho, this is some kind of a weird thing from days of old. And what it is it's a digital voice keyer. The nearest thing I can figure from looking at it, actually has a microphone, okay, is that you can, I believe you can record your voice and store it in a number of different banks. So you can store different voice messages. So I think the idea is, for instance, you're supposed to identify your station by call sign periodically, right, during transmission. Well, I guess you could put your call sign in here and then you just hit a button and you don't have to do it, right? You just, I mean, it does it for you. I don't know, maybe does that make sense? I have no idea if it works. I have no idea if it has any value. I just thought it was kind of a cool thing, and it was 10 bucks. The digital voice keyer. And you'll recall that I said this was going to include pics from the August 17th outdoor flea market, but that there wasn't much stuff there, so let's dive into that stuff right now. This is a little hard-inch holder. Looks like maybe for a little boring bar or something, and I have no idea what series hard-inch tool holder or lathe this would belong to, but it says hard-inch on it, and I got it for $1. It does have a letter on it. Looks like it says OL9. And the guy had some clamps on the table, and I spotted this nice old Armstrong clamp, and I got it for $2. And it's got the cool old Armstrong logo on it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a cool old logo on this thing. These are really nice, tough, stout clamps. Oh, this I actually didn't get. This I got at somewhere along the line, forgot all about in my car. But this is another little hand scope, only this is a real vintage one. This is a 10 power scope by Bausch & Lomb, finest quality made in the USA. So kind of cool. I actually bought this with another weird optical contraption that I got the 2 pieces for like 10 bucks, and I'll show that at the end of the video, I guess. Did pick up another CB radio. This is a CB radio I didn't want to pay much money for, and guy wanted $10 for it, and even at $10 I passed on it initially. And then when I was on my way out, I told him, I said, hey, I said, if you want to get rid of that radio, I'll give you $5 for it. I said, you know, taking a chance that it works at all. It's missing the microphone, and you know, it would be nice if it had the bracket so you could actually hang it in the car. What I did like about it was that it is a very clean radio, and it does appear to be a 40 channel. Usually when you have the LED readout, it's going to be a 40 channel, and it's a realistic, and it's just in nice overall shape. So if it's a working radio, I'll just throw a microphone on it and send it down the road probably. One of the regulars that I buy from, he didn't have anything really interesting for me, but I spotted this high-speed air body saw for $5. It's cheap Chinesium Harbor Freight Central Pneumatic garbage, but you know, for $5, I figured I'd take a chance on it. I think it's new, unused. So this is a little reciprocating saw, miniature reciprocating saw, air powered. These are really useful for doing like body work on cars and stuff, where you're going to cut out rotted stuff. I don't buy a lot of glassware and pottery, but this caught my eye. Just kind of a neat kind of, I think this is hand blown glass. Have no idea who made it. I can't find any markings on it to indicate that it's like of any consequence, and that's why I only gave $5 for it, even though the guy really wanted 10. But I ended up giving him 5 and took a chance on it. I think some of these, if they're the right colors and maybe signed by the right artist or something, they're worth big bucks, but I kind of doubt this one is. But took a chance on it for $5, and it's just kind of a neat little piece. And if he's still watching, Dusty is a picker who I see at this flea market a lot, and he watches my videos, and he really got a kick out of, like in one of my previous videos, I called him up by name, and he got a kick out of that. Actually, Mrs. Dusty, if you're watching, hello to you too. Anyways, he had some stuff he picked up at some tag sales or whatever, and was holding on to for me, and asked me if I would be interested. So I ended up getting these catalogs. Actually, I think this SPI catalog I didn't get from Dusty. This was something I got somewhere else, I'm pretty sure. I think. Yeah, I think it was just these two Starrett catalogs, I think, and this this is a Mitutoyo multi-anvil micrometer, but you see the foam insert's missing, and the other problem with it is, you see it's got the little dowel in there, but it's missing the anvil. So these typically will come in the case with the foam insert with a place for you to put the little flat stepped anvil that is usually ground carbide, and that basically turns this into almost like a regular micrometer. And then when you want to use it for some surface that has a curvature to it, you could put in the pin. If the pin is missing, that's easy. You can just put a dowel pin in there, and usually that'll work, you know. But anyways, it's a decent little multi-anvil micrometer. And I think we agreed on $20 for these, 15 or $20 for these pieces. So no, this is an SPI catalog. I can't remember where I got this from now. Yeah, maybe I did get this from him. I don't know. Who cares? I got just a couple more items to show you, and we'll call this one a wrap. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about this thing. I bought this months ago. That's why this is an odds and sods video. It never made it into the video for that actual weekend that I went there. But anyways, this weird thing that's in this box, I ended up getting for $10. And what it is it's a optical instrument. The box itself is kind of cool. It's actually painted, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's got this neat, like almost beadboard joinery on it. Well, when I walked up, the guy had this out of the box. Get this target out of here. He had this thing out. Oops. And sitting on top of the box like so. So initially I didn't even realize that this box was for this thing. It fits in there really nicely. This appears to be a light source. There's a little glass lens there. So it looks kind of like a horizontal microscope, but from what I was able to find online, apparently what this is called is a spectroscope. And I'm not sure exactly what it's used for. It does have, like, I found this screw was loose in the case, and the only reason I knew that it went there was because one of the three was still in there and it's got a spring. So between these three screws and springs, you're supposed to be able to fine-tune the tilt of this pad right here. And then it looks like the target, this thing, looks like this sits on top of this. So I think this, yeah, this would sit, the little indentations would go over that, yeah, like that. That kind of sits on there like that. These little lenses right here are actually just to be able to read these verniers on here to precisely, I guess, set the angle of this. Looks like there's one on each side, I guess, so you wouldn't have to go all the way around to the other side of the table maybe when you're looking at it. It's made by Spencer, but it's got a big American Optical label on it, so I don't know if Spencer was a division of American Optical. There's a big label here, American Optical Company. American Optical was a company right here in Southbridge, Massachusetts, which is one town over from me. When I was a kid, my father worked at American Optical. He was a lens grinder. He actually ground eyeglass lenses, I believe. Anyways, probably was a very expensive piece of equipment when it was new. Kind of crazy to find it just kicking around at a flea market and nobody really wanting to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I can't tell what's going on here, if this is cracked on the inside or what, but this lens looks horrible on this eyepiece when you look through it. So it might be just good for parts, I don't know. Oh, I forgot about this stuff. So this little funny thing looks like a little miniature stamped metal hatchet, huh? But it's actually it's a gauge for 61 degree and 71 degree. It says W&S cutter grinding gauge. So this is Warner and Swasey, was a lathe manufacturer, made a lot of turret lathes, and this would be a gauge for cutting the angle on the lathe tool bit. So that's kind of neat old thing. Guy had a bunch of these parts right here. These are all Dayton parts. This is an electric motor manufacturer, and what these are these are rigid couplings for putting to a motor shaft to another shaft, like on a pump. And then these right here are sleeves. So you put these on the shaft of a motor if you want to adapt it to a pulley with a slightly larger bore. But I ended up getting these for $1 a piece. This knife caught my eye. It looks like it's a filleting knife for filleting fish, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Western stainless steel USA, which I think Western knives were made right in Rhode Island. And actually it says right on the back, fillet knife. So a nice fillet knife with a good edge on it, and a little leather sheath. And I probably only paid like 10 bucks for that. Paid $1 for this pair of new old stock gloves, work gloves. Don't remember what I paid for this Lufkin tape measure, but it's in decent enough shape. It's kind of a beater tape measure. But because it's a 50-footer, I can use it outside, like in the yard, if I want to measure like a driveway width or something like that. And then this weird little tape measure here, it's Chinesium, but I just thought it was kind of cool, and I only paid $3 for it. This is called the Royal Dockyard Tape Measure, and it says 20 meters, 66 feet. And it has like a very French sounding name to it that says like Etude et Ruban and Massan, or something like Massant, right? Sounds very ooh la la French, right? But then there's tiny, tiny letters there that say made in China. China! So it's a cheap Chinesium like ornamental almost tape measure. I'm guessing what would this be for some hoity-toity guy to use on his sailboat? This is wood, I believe, or it might be plastic. Yeah, it might be some kind of plastic resin. I thought it was wood. But this is all brass, and then this is brass around here, you know. So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of neat, and I didn't want to pay a lot because it was Chinese. So $3. I got this nice Craftsman pipe wrench. This is it's got the original paint still on it. It had this number 2 with a Sharpie on it. So I asked the guy, I says, "Is this $2?" And he says, "Nah." But then he said, "Well, I'll take 3 for it." So I could pay $3 for this cute little pipe wrench, a little 8-inch, I think, Craftsman. So some of my Craftsman wrench guys might like this one. And I don't buy a lot of musical instruments, but occasionally I'll find a deal on something. This one caught my eye as being a nice, clean, usable flute. It's probably a student flute, probably not very valuable, but it only cost me $20. It is a Weimar, W-E-I-M-A-R. I don't really know much about it. This must be to clean it. I'm guessing you put like a little piece of rag or something on this, through this slot, kind of like looks like for cleaning shotgun barrels. And if anybody ever says that you can't be cool playing a flute, they need to just see some of the early concerts of Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull. The guy was amazing, amazing flautist in a rock band. The guy had a couple of pairs of boots, new old stock boots. The other pair were size 12s. These caught my eye because they're size 10 wide, which is my size. And I was like, oh, okay. So these are Brahma work boots. Brahma is a type of bull, so you can see the bull logo. I've never heard of Brahma work boots. These are finest of China. Distributed by Walmart. But they're insulated leather boots with steel toe. They're brand new. They still have the tags on them, for crying out loud. $20. So I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got my Chippewas that I like in there, but they're honestly they're expensive Chippewas that are falling apart. 2 pairs. I know. Somebody's probably going to leave in the comments and say, send them back to Chippewa. They'll fix them for you. So I guess I should do that at some point. I don't know what the statute of limitations is there on their warranty. Sometimes I buy ancient iron, so I got this thing here, caught my eye. This is doesn't look like it's made to have a sharp edge, so it's some kind of tool for just banging, like a seam maybe, metal. I believe this is some sort of a metalworking tool as opposed to a carpentry tool. And then this one looks much earlier, judging from the amount of pitting on it. And this one does look like it originally had a sharp edge on it for gouging. So this one almost looks more like it's for digging out like a log, like if you were gonna make a bowl, or on a larger scale a canoe. I don't know. So don't really know much about this kind of stuff. I know that if they were in better shape and you were able to find like a marking on them, that would be helpful to value them. The other kind of giveaway on this one here is this one actually looks like it's been struck a lot on the back here with a hammer. So I could see this being placed. So this would have had a handle on it just to hold it in position, and then you'd strike it. So kind of a neat old forging tool of some type. I stopped at a yard sale right up the street. Actually, the yard sale was on a day when I wasn't in town, so I missed the entire yard sale. But then I went then I was going by on a Monday, and the guy was standing out there, and he still had a bunch of junk out there. And there was a bunch of people still stopping and weeding through tons of stuff. And this nice little vise was sitting there still. It's a Red Arrow. It says Red Arrow right on it. It's a Red Arrow Colombian number 53.5. The little ears here to bolt it down aren't broken off. There's only 3, but that's by design. This is present. Sometimes these go missing. It seems to work okay. Moves in and out okay. $5. I have way too many vices, but for $5 I couldn't pass it up. And then I put together a lot of small stuff, which included this Fast Orange hand cleaner. Judging from the weight, still got at least half full, if not more. This is great stuff for cleaning up after you get your hands all greasy working on something. And this stuff right here, a pair of new old stock neoprene gloves, a ratchet strap, which looks like it's actually 2 ratchet straps put in, 2 different ratchet straps that are made into one, because I don't think of orange and red, right? But it's a good working, good usable strap. And this damn thing, this big old hook, okay, which you have to release the safety before it'll unhook on you, okay? So this is like for a lanyard, I think. So this would be good for, like, if I fix that man lift and I'm up in the man lift, I think I can use this to hook onto the rails of the basket and then have the lanyard on here to my harness. So when I fall out, I'll just swing like a jackass. But anyways, I don't know how much it would cost to buy this hook, new. I don't know who makes it even. Pen Safe, PT. Anyways, all of that for $5. And then back to the flea market for $5. I got these 2 containers of oil, and they are opened, but they actually have clean oil in them. So it almost appears like somebody just opened them to see what was in them. I thought for sure they were going to be full of waste oil and need to be brought back to the store, but I checked and it's clean, good usable oil. Let's take a look at these last 2 items I got laying on the ground over here, and we'll call this video a wrap. So I spotted this box, and what it appeared to me to be initially a very long extension cord. It's actually 2 cords. And I asked the guy how much, and he said, well, I'd like to get $50 for it. And when I realized there was 2 cords in here, I said, there's actually 2 in here. How much for just one? And he said, no, I want to sell them together. So finally I got them down only $5 more. I ended up having to buy the 2 of them for $45. But this is 10-3 copper wire with a really good coating on it, really good sheathing, good tough, well-made cable. Can take some abuse. This one says Carroll 10-3 type SJ CSA. So this is probably about 20 feet or 25 feet anyways, and it's actually got a 240 volt plug on one end and then a 240 volt dryer outlet type plug or stove plug on the other end. So somebody was probably using that for an extension cord for a welder. And this longer one here is probably at least 50 feet. So that's less than $1 a foot for good heavy duty extension cord. That's a pretty good deal. And then I got this set of 2 gauge jumper cables. These are nice and heavy compared to the ones I've been using around here. And these have an unusual extra feature. They have this little electronic box built in. And what this does is when you hook it up to the batteries, this will actually tell you the voltage of the batteries, the charge state of the batteries, which is kind of neat. And it does work, I tried it. And the last item is this box right here that intrigued me, and it's loaded with what looks like bronze filler metal rod. This is probably for brazing, but I got this whole box for $5. There's quite a few pieces in there. Alright guys, so that's gonna be a wrap for this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Until next time, take care and happy hunting.